Well, hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Purple Door podcast, a Friends Rewatch Pod. I am one of your hosts, Alasdair, alongside my good friend DeeAnn. DeeAnn, how are you today?
Doing awesome, Al. I just went to the gym with our friend Haley, and it was great. We worked out. We had leg days. So my legs are jelly, and it's wonderful.
So when we finish recording this podcast, if you try to get up and fall out your seat, we'll know why.
You'll know exactly why.
Yes, there's a chance. I completely get it. Well, good for you for getting up, going to the gym of a Saturday morning. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Today we are revisiting the one where I'm not sure if it's the one where Mr. Heckles or the one where Heckles dies.
Just Heckles.
That's what I thought. I wrote down Mr.
Plain-
Heckles. That didn't sound right.
And I've been saying Mr. Heckles the whole time, and so it's funny whenever I went and watched it, and I was like, oh. Like last night, I pulled it up on the thing, and I even said to Joseph, I was like, it's not Mr. Heckles, it's Heckles. And I know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So.
And I didn't pay enough attention, I guess, because I think they call him Mr. Heckles, but maybe they do just call him. Yeah, I didn't think they called him Heckles.
I think the girls call him Mr. Heckles, but the boys, like Chandler, calls him Heckles.
Just Heckles. All right. Interesting. Well, before we get stuck into the episode, as always, let's fire off a round of Bamboozled. Why don't you go first? What have you got for us?
All right. So why did Chandler dump the first girl, like in the episode that he's talking about? And extra points if you can tell one of the ways he describes this particular feature.
All right. So we should have preempted this Bamboozled with reminding listeners that on our last episode we had about 7 questions the same.
Oh, no!
I have half of your question here. So the answer, I believe, now of course I might have the wrong person, but I think it's Joan, and she has a huge nose because bats can fly out it.
Yes.
Yes.
And whenever she leans back, he can see her brain.
That's right. My first question was going to be, what does Chandler say flies out of Joan's nose?
Oh, there you go.
So there we
go. Awesome.
All right. Well, my first question for you now is going to be, what was Mr. Heckles' attorney's name?
That would be my question number 5. Buddy
Yikes.
Boyle.
Buddy Doyle. I thought they said Buddy Boyle. And
that's what I said. With a B. You got some alliteration happening there.
So that's what I thought, but I Googled it, and it's not a B, it's a D.
What? Oh, my God. Do I still get points or no?
You still get points. Because I wasn't sure, so I Googled it to see what his name was. And because I thought it was Boyle, but it's Doyle with a D. But Buddy Boyle apparently is a character in Monsters, Inc.
Oh my goodness!
Which I didn't know. So I was thinking, is there some weird connection there? But then realized it's Doyle with a D. But you certainly get the point.
Yes, good.
Yes,
because we keep track of points here.
Indeed, yes.
No.
All right, what have you got for us?
All right. What 2 things does Rachel want from Mr. Heckles' apartment?
She wants the lamp and the sort of Barbie doll clock.
Yes. But that is not a Barbie doll.
No, and we have some feelings on that. We'll discuss. We'll get into these 2 items later on. All right, you are famed for your numbers questions. This is sort of a numbers question. What was Mr. Heckles' apartment number? Bum bum bum.
Oh my gosh! Is it 14?
That would make more sense. It's actually 8.
Oh.
So if we think about what the girls' apartment is, 20 at this point,
right?
I think they've settled on 20. How 8 is directly below 20, I don't know, but 8 it is.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. All right. Well, this is and do you want to hear something? I don't have any number questions.
Goodness.
Oh, now I do ask you for numbers of things.
All
But
right.
anyway, what is Mr. Traeger eating as they wheel Mr. Heckles' body away?
I can picture the scene. I cannot picture what he's eating. I'm gonna go in honor of Joey with a sandwich.
It's a donut.
It's a donut.
Yeah, just how ridiculous. He's got his cup of, I imagine, coffee, but who knows what's in that cup.
Right,
And then
right.
he's munching on a donut.
Good for. I've got a soft spot for it. I want to call him Traeger. I think Joey says Traeger. I never quite know what his name is, but I think he's a great character.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do too.
yeah. I
It could
enjoy
have
it when
been
we
me.
see him.
I
Right.
was sweeping yesterday.
That's right. He was that close. Why is Joey in the Big Book of Grievances?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
What were the grievances that they read from my big book of grievances?
yikes!
April 18th, excessive noise, and he was bringing home a date.
that's it. All right, we may have
Uh,
to revisit how we do our questions or something. I
mm,
don't know.
uh,
I don't know.
all right. Name at least two things that Phoebe doesn't believe in.
Evolution
Of course.
and can we say gravity? Because she's on the she's
Yes.
feeling more pushed down or pushed than pulled down or something.
Yes, yes. And then
Yes,
also, just for funsies, crop circles and the Bermuda Triangle.
that's right. I wouldn't have got those ones. I
Mm.
love it. What two things do Heckles and Chandler have in common according to his yearbook? There is a slight third one, but there's two things right on the nose.
Okay. They are both funny. They both were
Yep,
voted class clown. They
yep,
both played clarinet.
that was it.
And Heckles was in the Scale Modelers Club, but he thinks that's cool. So,
Yes, that's it. That's it.
all, all right. Well, what was the grievance that Chandler got in the big book of grievances for?
Yeah, I should have written that down. The what was he in there? The only thing I remember is that he writes down Italian guy's gay roommate.
Yes.
But I don't
And then
remember what he did. I don't remember.
it was excessive noise.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And bringing home dry cleaning.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I should have written it down. All right. The broom makes several appearances in this episode. But what color
Mhm.
is the handle?
Red.
It is red.
Nice.
It is indeed.
All right. Name four things that were in Mr. Heckles' apartment
Four things.
besides the lamp and the clock.
This is a solid question. So, all right. There's the screen, the magnifying
Hmm.
screen, which we'll talk about. There's a stack of magazines, which we see at the end. I have a question for you about that. There
Okay.
is the yearbook.
Okay.
Feel like that's cheating a bit with yearbook. And this is where I'm going to get stuck. What else is it? Oh, there's like the model, like the birds or so that
Yep.
Ross is playing with. There we go.
Yes. Yes. There's
Yes.
also something else that kept standing out to me was this big cow that was right by
That's
the
right.
door.
Yeah.
And that was so weird. And then, yeah, there's so much junk in that apartment. It was awesome.
All right. Well, I am going to ask you about one of those items.
Uh oh.
In the final scene in Heckle's apartment, Joey's holding a stack of magazines. We saw the same stack of magazines in Nana's apartment when she died. What kind of magazines are they?
Mm. Are they National Geographic?
They are indeed. Yes.
Yes.
Well done. That
Yes.
distinctive yellow magazine.
Yes. And I didn't notice that at all. But I remember getting that question wrong
Right?
in Nana's apartment in that episode.
Yes.
All right. What brand of jacket is Joey wearing on the second day? He walks in and Chandler's just sitting there in Mr. Huckle's apartment. And so him and Joey have this big long exchange. And Joey is wearing a certain jacket.
This is not the first time you have asked about fashion labels. Or labels. I'm going to need to keep an eye on this from now on. I
I think this is a third.
yeah.
I
I'm
don't know
gonna
what that's about.
let's see. I think I'm going to have to go with
Would you like a hint?
Adidas. We'll go with
Wait,
Adidas. Oh
wait,
no,
let's have
hint.
a hint.
A hint.
I feel like they must have been a sponsor of some sort for this season or first couple of episodes.
Ah, okay. God bless it. I remember this whole conversation about something Rachel was wearing.
Mm-mm.
No, not that. Okay.
It's more recent than that.
More recent than that. Oh, Nike.
Hmm.
Yes, Ben shoes. Nike or Nike. That's right.
He sure is, though. And so I was like, man, in the last episode, they gave Ben shoes that were Nikes, and that was very prominent. And then, sure enough, man, that Nike brand now is like sticking out.
Right,
But
you're looking.
Rachel's overalls were the Oshkosh Bagosh.
Ah, very nice.
Hmm.
Right.
Uh,
Okay, I've got a question for you, and I'm thrilled you haven't asked this because it's my favorite question.
oh, good.
Heckles and Chandler's trains are on the same track. What are the three stations they stop at? Ah,
Yes. Oh gosh. Okay, wait. It's Aloneville.
yep,
Oh God.
that's the second stop.
Okay. Dude. Bittertown.
Yes,
Bittertown. Aloneville.
yep.
And something Junction.
Oh, you're correct. So close. It's you gave me hint the other question. It's the name of somebody, the noun for somebody who lives alone, perhaps, has always lived alone, doesn't go out much.
Hermit.
Hermit
Hermit
Junction.
Junction. Yes.
There you
All
go.
right. Awesome. Awesome.
I love that. I
Golly.
just love those three names.
Yes. That line is so funny.
It's
All
so
right.
good. All right, you're up.
All right. What does Chandler predict he will look like or be like whenever he's older, as he's becoming like unhinged there at the end? He's got to go get something because what is he gonna be?
Oh, is he going to be Crazy Snake Man?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. That's run away, kids. Yeah,
It's crazy Snake Man. Oh,
that's right. All right, and I've got two more questions left for you.
oh, I'm out.
Um, you're right. Okay. Well, let's see. I'll do this one first. When Ross walks in with the big briefcase for examples of evolution for Phoebe, what color suit is he wearing?
Oh, it's tan.
It is
Like,
10.
like it's a
It's an
khaki color. Like
unusual.
it's a light.
Yeah,
Yeah, he looks like a cartoon scientist to
he
me
does.
in
It
that
kind of
whenever
stood
he's
out.
walking around in that suit.
Absolutely. And then my final question, I thought you might ask me this one because it has a number. When the doll clock dances, what time is it?
It's 3 o'clock.
It is
That
3 o'clock.
was one of the questions I was gonna ask, and then I was like, "Yeah, that one's kind of like obvious." But
It was, but that to me
it,
that was the filler question. Like make them up at the
it was
end.
great. It was great.
So we start this episode off in the girls' apartment, and Chandler is immediately showing that he's still got lots and lots of issues. This poor old Chandler because he's breaking up with girls, ladies for the most ridiculous reasons.
Yes,
Um, this one is poor old Joan. She has is it a big nose or big
big
nostrils? Maybe both.
nostrils. It's
Big
nothing
nostrils.
as specific or rude as a big nose. You know, it's
Right.
something random like what, which as we'll
Yeah,
see later is that that tracks to a certain type of individual.
it does. Yeah, but bats could fly at them. You could see her brain when she leant back, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like just so descriptive. But then Joey starts talking about he once dated this woman. What did he say when he first moved to the city?
Yes.
Who had a huge Adam's apple.
Yeah.
And I love the looks that they all start giving each other.
Uh-huh.
Um, Now, I cannot remember the episode, and I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. Later in the series, much later on, he talks about his Joey's apple because he thinks everyone's is named after themselves.
Yes. Yes.
So it doesn't track completely that he thinks that this person has an Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Uh,
That is accurate. And I
okay.
remember that too. But I don't know. Do you ever like say things and then you're like, "Wait a minute, I knew that." And
Uh,
then
daily,
oh, I mean, I
daily.
feel like
Yes.
I didn't know if that was just me because, but I
No,
do
it's
that a
definitely
lot.
not
It's
just
like,
you.
"Wait a minute, I do know the answer to that," or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, it is. It is. I would imagine most people.
I was going.
They say,
Ooh,
yeah.
let me ask you a bamboozled question about this scene
Yes.
right here because it just. Um, what are they doing whenever Chandler walks in and he's like, "Well," and he starts talking about the girl? What's everybody else doing?
So I think I'm right and say, are they playing poker?
Uh huh. Yeah.
Right. I didn't notice it. Was I guess I subliminally did, but I thought about it afterwards when I was thinking about the Adam's apple thing.
Uh
Is
huh.
that were they playing poker? A nice little throwback to what midway through season one,
Yes.
whenever it was.
Yes.
Nice to see that that has continued. They were playing some poker.
Yeah. I liked that.
Um, Yeah, yeah, I like that they're playing that together. We're still in the girl's apartment in the next scene, but Chandler's talking about he or I think he says maybe somebody else says that he broke up with somebody because they didn't like Yanni, the musician.
Okay, I thought he said yawning. And I was
Ah,
like, that's so random. But Yanni, that, not that any of it makes any sense, but I
okay.
feel like Yanni makes more sense than yawning, which is what I
Eh,
heard.
yeah, if you're going to break up with somebody for an involuntary bodily function, that's a new low. I mean, I guess you could dislike somebody's musical taste,
uh,
but
yeah.
Yanni would be something else. I'm pretty sure. I think it's Yanni.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Who Yanni's one of those people. I think is more of like a cultural icon rather than being maybe a great musician. Like, I think everyone knows he plays like the clarinet or the flute or something,
Uh huh.
right?
Yeah.
Or saxophone, maybe all three. I've never heard a song of his. I
Oh,
don't. I just know that there's this guy who does that.
yes.
I
Well,
don't know how he became famous.
and I bought my dad, like, and so this will tell you how long ago, but Yanni tapes to listen to in his car. So,
Right,
like, there are people out there who very much like Yanni. So, which,
right.
man, I wish I had known. That's what they were saying. I could have done a whole
Yeah,
deep dive on Yanni and told you all about him.
yeah. I know nothing about this guy other than he seems to be famous in a musical genre all on his own.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Like, I don't get it. I wonder how he became famous. More credit to him. He's obviously done something right. Um, but yeah, a little deep dive on Yanni. We'll put that on the things that we need to do that we always forget about
Oh,
list.
ooh! I told you I've got I started a Google sheet and I'm putting Yanni
Yes.
on it right now.
Yeah, we'll need to come up with a fun name for this sheet, like we do with Bamboozled and Gunther Central Park. This sheet, I feel, is going to become very important to us
Yes,
as the years go by. So we'll need to think. Maybe listeners have an idea. This list needs a name,
yes.
so
Not things
we'll
we
need to
will
come up with
follow
one.
up on, which is what it's
Yes,
currently called.
yes, right. Something a little more catchy would be awesome. But we'll see. Well, after the Yanni thing, Mr. Heckles knocks on the. Everett knocks on the door. Yeah, he does. He knocks on the door. That's right, and accuses them of stomping and disturbing his birds.
Yes,
Which, I assume this guy is just pretty deranged. He doesn't have birds.
I could
Um,
have birds, but he has a
he
whole
could.
bunch of statues of birds.
He does. Maybe he
So
thinks they're real birds.
maybe, or maybe, well, that didn't make sense. Never mind. My thought
Yeah.
was, is like maybe they're shaking. Like the birds are
Ah,
shaking, and so you're disturbing them. But
it's a good thought.
as
Yeah.
loud as it was, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, with the whole, I don't have a monkey. I could have a monkey. Like, I don't, you don't have birds. I could have birds.
Yeah.
He's so,
It
yeah,
doesn't. It's just occurred to me when you were saying that. Doesn't he say at some point like, "You're disturbing my oboe practice"?
yeah,
You don't play the oboe, but he did play the clarinet.
yes.
Yes,
Oh, that's,
like kind of just
I could,
a little connection there.
huh.
Um, yeah, but he accuses them of disturbing his birds, and I guess he's going to go back to his dinner party. But then Chandler starts talking about Janice.
Oh,
Um,
goodness.
Good old Janice. Yeah, which thrilled that she will reappear.
Yes.
Um,
And then they start, like, imitating her, which was so funny.
yes, it was. I do. I've never seen an outtake of that scene, but I imagine this must have taken several takes.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so iconic.
Hmm. But
There's no way. There's no way they weren't laughing.
so funny. Yes.
Yeah, but then Mr. Heckle starts knocking on the ceiling with the broom.
Yes.
I think is it maybe Monica Stamp, then Monica and Ross. I don't quite
It's
remember, and then all
Rachel.
of them.
Rachel comes over, and
Rachel.
then they're stomping together, and then he's banging, and then they both do it a whole lot, and then there's nothing, and and then they high five each other, and I bet you
That's
they feel
right.
like real jerks later.
That's right. When they go down, because in the very next scene, we're kind of in the doorway in the hallway of Heckle's apartment, and he's being wheeled out. Now, is this the first appearance of Traeger? Trigger? I think it might be, but I'm not sure. I didn't look this up.
I did
Um,
not look that up either. Uh,
yeah, it didn't jump out at me that we'd seen him before.
no, but like he's such a
Yeah,
notable character. Like
yeah,
I don't know, huh?
yeah. But again, I just like him. There's an innocence about him. Just seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I like the way that he is played. Um, but as you said, eating a donut, drinking what we presume is coffee,
Mhm.
and could have been him. He was just sweeping yesterday.
Yeah, man.
Could be any one
That's
of us.
sweeping.
Yeah,
It's a good thing to remember. Just get a robot vacuum.
that's right. Save lives. Get a robot. Get a Roomba.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, or get the
Yes.
knockoff version because that's what we have.
Oh,
Roombas are
absolutely.
expensive.
We had the knockoff version. Um, we had it for a long time, but it kept getting stuck under the couch, which was
Oh,
really annoying.
yeah.
Just our couch was exactly the wrong height to where it wouldn't bump into it and leave. It would like get its nose under there and then couldn't get back out every time.
Mhm.
So we were left with new vacuum or new couch. Um, I went with the new vacuum because it was a lot cheaper.
There you
So
go.
that
Yeah.
was that.
Weird.
Um,
Oh, I was
yeah.
listening to another podcast on my way home just a little while ago, and
Mhm.
they were talking about how expensive couches are right now. So it's funny that you say it was cheaper because, yeah, why is furniture so expensive? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if Katie Condren is listening, she just purchased a new couch. Our good
Oh,
friend Katie,
there
who
you
has contributed to the show once or twice.
Yes.
Um, Yes, I don't know what she spent on her couch, but I know she spent the day couch shopping a couple of weeks ago.
Well, and
Um,
Katie Condren, she's fancy, so.
she is fancy, and I think we've discussed this as a dog owner myself. I can say she has the world's greatest dog, and she sent a picture to our group text of her wonderful dog Lucy on the new couch.
There you go. Nice. Well, and that's
Yes,
so funny because I almost said you mean Lucy got a new couch, but
that's right.
yeah.
I think Condren got the couch, and Lucy got the this big footstool thing that fits her perfectly. So I
Aw,
think it's a good arrangement.
that's nice.
Good Lucy. Um, yeah, so we go back upstairs to the girls' apartment, and Phoebe, she's encouraging Heckles to go towards the light, which is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's see, and this is where the whole sort of evolution situation, this B plot of Ross and Phoebe going back and forth,
Mhm.
um, really starts, which is interesting. I had oddly last night a 2 or 3 hour conversation with a family member about conspiracy theories. Just nobody was convincing anyone of a certain theory, but just what goes around and what is complete nonsense and what could possibly be true and things
Hmm.
like that. So it was quite interesting that this kind of came up today.
Man, I love. Okay, so what's your favorite conspiracy theory? Like the ones that make you go, yeah, maybe so.
So let's think. It's interesting. I like, and it's not because I believe it or anything like that, but you may know this. So the flat Earth theory makes me smile because there's a guy who drives around the
Ye-
town where I live,
yes,
the flat Earth guy,
yes,
and
I've
he has
seen
got
that
all
car.
sorts. You see him?
Oh
Yeah, he's
yeah,
got all sorts of flat Earth stuff just like spray painted on this old beaten up car that he drives around, and it just makes me smile because if you believe in the flat Earth theory, you're not hurting anyone. So it just makes me smile when I see him drive this car around that's got bits falling off it, and I like to think he's like an eccentric millionaire who bought this junked up car so he could spray paint it. But I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't really know what he believes. But if I ever see anything about flat Earth, it makes me smile
yeah,
because I think of Denton and I think of this guy driving around and just the eccentric stuff that is just part of the fabric of where we live.
yes.
So I would have to say that one, even though it's not one that I necessarily believe. Oh, I don't. I've got no beliefs about flat Earth at all. Let me make that abundantly
It's too
clear.
easy.
It's too easy. Oh no, I'm not a flat earther. Now, one that I could buy into, it's just sort of a general thing,
Uh-huh.
is sometimes we see all this political divide and this party and that party. And sometimes I just wonder if people are sitting behind the scenes and they're pretending to be enemies on stage, but really they're clinking their beer glasses together
Oh
behind,
yeah.
like that kind of how much of this is truly just show.
Oh
And I don't have a specific idea or a theory, but I just sometimes feel a little, um, yeah, are we
yeah.
just being played by both sides
By
here?
the
Um,
whatever 1% or whatever it is.
exactly,
Oh
that
yeah.
control things.
And then
What about you? What about you?
oh well, now that you bring that up, I mean, I like to think that very much. But
Right,
I don't know. I go back and forth about ghosts and things like that because
right.
I like the idea very much of ghosts and supernatural things and alternate universes and stuff like that. Do I really believe it? I don't know that I do, but I really enjoy it.
Nice to think about. So I'll give a shout out to a podcast. I think it's been around a long time, but I recently just started listening to called So Supernatural. And it just popped up on like my podcast, podcasts you might like. It's pretty good. And they just look into stories and they've done the Loch Ness Monster and they've done kind of Mexican folk tales and all sorts of
Oh,
things.
fun.
And it's just kind of fun. Um, I've listened to maybe 5 or 6 episodes. I don't know exactly where the two hosts land on how much they believe.
Hmm.
Um, so I just don't know, but it's really interesting nonetheless because I think every episode is based on a true story that involves something supernatural and trying to explore that a bit. So supernatural. Definitely recommend giving that a listen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
I
cool.
kind of like the idea of ghosts and spirits and things. I don't know, there's something oddly comforting, but again, that's kind of as far as I've gone with it in my head.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So the elementary school that I work at is right next to a graveyard. Okay. And
right.
so last year, it was my first year working there. and I there was a PTA meeting that was supposed to be happening that evening. So I went a few hours early to like work and set up my office and like capital around, you know. And so I'm working and then I keep hearing this voice. So I was like, "Oh, the
Right.
principal's here." So like I go out in the hall and I'm like, "Hey." And like I'm like, "That's weird that she didn't turn on any of the lights." No, she's not there. I'm like, "Man, that's weird." And
Yikes.
so I go back into my office and I'm piddling around and then I hear it's a man's voice and I'm like I don't even know that there are men that work here. Like what is happening? So
Right.
I like kind of go on a little adventure and I cannot find a soul in this school. And I'm like, golly, creepy. Then I come back and I'm back in my office and then I think about the graveyard and I'm like, oh my gosh. Well then one of the new teachers showed up and she was I let her in the school so she could go and start setting up a room while I tell her about it. And she's like, oh my gosh. Well, then she comes back and she's like, my dad saw a man. There's a man here. And I'm like, there is not a man here. There is no man here. And so we go looking. And so I called the maintenance and I was like, hey, are any of you guys over here? No. And I'm like, that's so weird. Well, anyway, then the PTA meeting happens, and then after the PTA meeting, the sun's down, and I was like, I'm out of here. Like I'm
You're
out of
done.
here.
Yeah.
And so
Time to go.
I'm telling the PTA moms. There's a couple of moms that were like, "Let us see your office." So we're standing in my office and we're talking, and I was like, "Y'all, like I got to get out of here. Like I am creeped out." And so then they told me a story about over Christmas break the year prior, whenever they were there and somebody came. And so I'm like, oh. But then I of course obsess and freak out, and I have managed to explain all of it away, like all of it.
Good.
Yes, all of the things. But there's something fun about leaving off the fact that I'm pretty sure the male voice I kept hearing was a walkie-talkie that was dying in the closet between my office and the principal's office. And
We won't worry about that detail.
right.
Yeah.
And then that they were working on the cameras over Christmas and chances are the guy that they saw that was walking the halls was working on the cameras and had earbuds in. Like, like I
Hmm.
can explain it all away, but it's kind of fun to think no.
That's what they want you to
But
believe. That's what I'm going
right,
with.
right.
That's pretty cool. I've had no supernatural ghostly experiences.
Oh,
I can remember being terrified as a very young kid, thinking there was something in my room, but of course, it was
yeah.
now with hindsight perfectly logical. I know what it was. Um,
What was in your
but yeah,
closet?
well, no, it was. How do I explain this? So I don't know how old I was, but I was very young, and I just remember hearing this sort of almost like this sounds creepy, but it's not like a fingernail tapping on glass. It's like a ting ting ting, and just remember thinking it was some really creepy something or other,
Okay.
and I'd have my head under the blankets, and what it was just the light bulb cooling down, like it was in like a metal shade,
Okay.
and it because I realized it only happened when it had been on a while and was really hot, and that's where the noise was coming
Sure,
from.
sure, sure. That's what they
That's
want you to
maybe
think.
allegedly, it was really some sort of ghoul tapping his fingernails on the lampshade. Yeah. But one thing I did not experience was the feeling of being pushed down rather than pulled, as Phoebe does.
Yes, yes. It's
Yes,
interesting.
which
Well, my favorite was whenever Chandler, and then he says it's Isaac Newton, and he's pissed.
that's right. Such a good line.
Yes.
Such a good line. And I do love that we see Ross. Ross is unhinged Ross, but he doesn't lose the plot. He doesn't get like he gets a little condescending, but he doesn't get mean like we've seen him before.
Yes.
I feel like Phoebe is just like a puppet on a string.
Uh-huh.
She knows exactly what she is doing here. But
Yeah.
yeah, then it's not Isaac Newton at the door, it's Heckles' attorney. Um, and Mr. Heckles had no family, nobody to leave anything to, except for the noisy girls upstairs.
Yes, Noisy Girl 1
So,
and Noisy Girl 2.
noisy girl two. Now, was he being mean by doing this, or was it perhaps actually he thought they might find stuff they like, or what do you think? How did you read this
I
situation?
okay, I could read it either way. I really
Right,
truly could because
right.
this is a weird dude. He's a weird
He
dude.
is
And I mean, it's good. The saving grace of that is that we didn't take any dark turns or anything. Like they didn't find
correct.
a a pillow full of hair or something random or creepy or weird, you know? Um,
Right.
and so I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I'm not
the
sure I thought about this.
yeah,
Um,
like I
like,
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, no, you're fine. I was just thinking because if he knew the place was a dump and that nobody would like it, then maybe he was being mean. But maybe he just thought they might, actually they might find some nice stuff or
Hmm.
something they can use. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Again, listeners, if you want to give us, drop us a line on Instagram or Facebook. Was he being nice, or was this a final act of being mean to the noisy girls upstairs? Um, but Monica thinks that maybe he really did like them until they get into the apartment, and
The way that
the
they
place
cut
is a
that was
dump.
so funny.
Yes,
Yes, it was great.
yes. And I do love that pretty much immediately we see Joey and the big screen thing, which I ended up Googling to figure out. Maybe you knew what this was.
I have no idea. I thought it was a TV screen, but no.
Oh, you're 90% of the way there. So
Okay.
this is my brand new information deep dive. It's a television magnifier that were available on the market in the 40s and the 50s. It's essentially a big magnifying glass that you would place in front of your television, and it would make the screen bigger. They were a
Huh.
popular solution to the small screen sizes of early televisions and provided a way to enlarge the image for viewers. The magnifiers were often made of plastic or plexiglass, and they were filled with a liquid like water or oil to enhance their magnifying effect. And you can still buy them online, like vintage ones, in sort of
Interesting.
antique places. Yeah, yeah. I thought maybe it was something related to a television, so looked it up, and
Yeah.
sure enough, a television magnifier.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, kind of a fun thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, so let's see. Ross still wants to argue about the evolution theory with Phoebe.
Yeah.
Um, like he just can't give it up. I mean, he really does become obsessed about things when he gets his mind on them.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this before. But this is where Chandler finds the big book of grievances. I love that it says that on the front of the book.
Yes. Yes.
Like who did he write that for? Heckles. Like, sure, he would have known that it's his book of grievances.
Right.
Um, but I just love that it's written there. Yeah, Joey and Chandler both get a mention. One sort of flattering, one sort of not. I guess you could say. Joey certainly likes his mention, and Chandler doesn't like his.
Right.
Um, Now, this is where we bring up the lamp that
Uh-huh.
Rachel wants.
Yeah.
Pretty much the ugliest lamp. Um, like, in the sense of it's not Rachel's style at all, I don't think.
No.
Um, yeah. Yeah, she seems kind of more modern, more chic.
Yes. But
Yeah,
she's going through something. Like, you know what I mean? She's going through something. So I
that's true.
feel like, maybe if she is trying to figure out her next steps or whatever, something that she wouldn't normally like maybe perhaps a 3 foot tall random mask. I don't know
Who would
who
own
would
a pair of
who
those?
would do that. But you know what I mean? So maybe this
Right.
is just something because like the ugly doll clock, like that is so ugly and her hair is
Yeah.
ugly. Like But those are the two things she likes. They're so
Of all the
tacky
things.
and so ugly, and yeah, not her style at all. So I feel like maybe
No,
it's tied specifically to her going through something.
you might be right. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode, oh, sorry, my dog. It was 2 episodes ago. Yeah, I've got a couple of very large African masks, African inspired masks, that I'm sure are a knockoff. I don't remember where I got them. That have become the unofficial mascots of the show.
Yes, this is
So,
true.
yes. Sorry, there's somebody at the door. I think that's why Lola is barking away.
Oh, Lola.
Um, yeah, she is. I think she's done now. Um, but Rich says she wants the lamp, and she and Monica talk about kind of whose apartment it is. Kind of. I don't know if Monica made a mistake or if she was just trying to establish she didn't want Rachel taking over with what she sees as tacky decorations. I think I don't know. I'm not. We're not sure quite of the time frame, I suppose, but I think it is Monica's apartment, and Rachel kind of
Yeah,
rents a room there. I see both sides of it, but it is Monica's apartment. It was for years before Rachel moved in.
right. But
Yeah, it's not like they signed a lease together, but I'm not sure. How do you feel about that? Like, is it theirs, or who is it that right or wrong, or is there no right and wrong?
I mean, mm. So
Yeah.
I've been in a situation, right, where I owned a house and I had roommates, and it didn't bother me. Like, you just put your stuff wherever, you live
Right,
here. You live here, so
right.
it's great. Um yeah, so I think
Yeah,
that's but Monica's so OCD, like
right.
I don't know. But on that same token, I mean, Rachel knows that Monica is so OCD. So
Yeah, she's not likely to just let her. Let her's a weird thing to say, but be fine with a random lamp she doesn't like in the middle of the living room.
right.
Yeah, she knows that about Monica. Um, And then Ross is still going on about evolution and the opposable thumbs, where he's got those two little toys. I don't know what those are called, but I remember those.
Yeah, and they
Um,
like bend
and
over and yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I do love when Phoebe kind of pushes back, talking about the overlords and the spacecrafts may have made them. Um, a great argument, and she just basically says to Ross, "Can't we just kind of agree to disagree?" Like she doesn't want to keep talking about this. She's okay with people having different views than she has.
Mhm.
But Ross certainly is not. Um, and this is where Joey finds Heckles' yearbook, and Chandler realizes that this could be his future. If he doesn't do something, he could end up being a Mr. Heckles.
Yeah, and then he
Um,
bangs the ceiling and then
God, so
ah!
funny. Yeah, chucks the broom down. Such a funny moment.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, he's determined. He leaves. Not sure where he's going, but right before he leaves, yeah, hits the ceiling.
Oh, I think he knew
Um,
exactly where he was going.
he was going to call Janice.
What? Oh, wait,
Was he?
no. That's what I
No?
was thinking, but no. Because then it moves on to the next day, and he's sitting there on Heckle's couch, and that's before he goes and calls her.
I wonder if that's. I may have forgotten to write that down, or if that's a scene that I don't have that you have. Because I scribbled down in my notes that that's when Chandler walks into his apartment and calls Janice.
Then you wouldn't have even been able to get the answer to my bamboozled question about the Nike jacket. Because there's a whole.
Ah,
Wait, no, no, no. Because here, the trains are on the same track.
okay. So
Okay,
maybe I've forgotten to write scene down. That's all it is.
okay, okay.
Um,
I'm like, whoa, I'm
good.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is the train track conversation
Right.
because
That's right.
so he bangs the ceiling and then you're absolutely right. He leaves, but then apparently he went and put on his robe and came back.
Right.
And then they start out there, and then he's reading that the uh, things about the women, that Vivian's too tall, and
Oh, that's
whoever
right. He kind of
is too
throws them.
loud, and then whoever has too big of gums, and then he's like, it's all these stupid little things. It's me. It's me. And so now he's like fully come to that realization that this could be him if he continues
Yes,
on that train.
absolutely. Yeah,
Then
that he will be. But then he's not going to make it end like this. That's right. This is not going to be him. Goes upstairs. Yeah, calls Janice, and we cut pretty quickly to Central Park,
oh
where
wait,
Chandler tells them, "Oh, there's something else."
wait, oh no, just because he's like, I don't want to be alone because somebody says supposedly or supposedly.
Yes, and
And he
then
leaves, and
Joey.
then Joey's standing there going, supposedly. And he's, they went to the zoo, supposedly. And he
Supposedly,
says it wrong.
yes.
And I'm like, no.
Poor old Joey.
See, but now I've
Yeah,
said it, the word has lost all meaning.
that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So then Chandler calls Janice. Oh, goodness.
That's right. And I think he just kind of goes, "Hey, it's me," so we don't know who he's talking to.
And then the next
Um,
scene.
I love this scene because to me it just screams Janice's character that she would do this.
Yes.
Yeah, Chandler tells the gang that he's called Janice, and she walks in and heavily pregnant, married,
Uh-huh.
and then what does she say? Like Janice just likes to have her fun, like tapping
Yes.
his nose or something.
Yeah, just his
You know,
face and oh, oh
it
my God.
poor Chandler. Um, but we end up going straight back upstairs. That's a brief scene to the girl's apartment, and Monica wants to get rid of the lamp, saying that she's allergic to shellfish.
Yes,
And I think Rachel says something that will just eat the other lamp
yes.
or something.
I guess you'll just have
Now,
to eat that other lamp. Yes.
are you allergic to anything?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be allergic. Oh, well, I'm definitely allergic to cats. I know that. Like they make my
Right.
eyes swell, and if I'm around them too long, like I have trouble breathing, and it's just a hot mess. But I might also be allergic to pumpkin, and I didn't ever know it, or nutmeg. It's either nutmeg or pumpkin. But I didn't realize that that's what being allergic to a food felt like until just in the last couple of years. But like
Right.
where your whole mouth is itchy, and then like the back of your throat, like where the little thing that hangs below,
Hmm.
that thing, like the roof of my mouth back there kind of swells up. And so apparently I might be allergic to something.
Did you think that that's just what happened when you had a dash of nutmeg on something?
Yeah, like
Yeah. Okay.
I just thought that that was, I never, And the thing is like pumpkin pie tastes good,
Right.
but and so I just thought that everybody thought it tasted good, so like that's just something that happens. Yeah, which is so
Right.
stupid, right? My cousin Amanda came to visit one time, and we were talking, and anyway, something. It was in the fall, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want that. Sometimes I just that doesn't sound good because I think it was in a coffee, and I was like, that doesn't sound good. And
Right.
and so then I was telling her about that, and she's like, "Oh my God, that means you're allergic to it." And I said, "Oh, I don't think so. I think I would know if I was allergic." And she was like, "DeeAnn, like you're a grown woman. How do you not know this?" I didn't know.
Every day's a school day,
I'm
right?
just
You don't know
saying.
till you know.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's apparently not normal. So, but I'll still
Eh,
enjoy a piece of pumpkin pie every year. So.
well, good for you. Good for you. Well, see, Ross comes in with this it's like a briefcase, but obviously it's thicker or deeper.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
he's also got evidence for Phoebe. Um, Phoebe brings up a very good point. And I kind of think about this sometimes, like
Uh,
everything we assume is fact.
yes.
well, people have kind of always thought that what they believed at the time was fact,
Mhm.
mostly.
Yep.
So how arrogant would we be to assume that everything we know now is the end game, or for whatever
Right.
reason?
Yes.
Um, so I'm kind of on board with Phoebe with
My
this one.
brain
Like,
is.
yeah, it's a really well thought out, good argument. Like you can't go against it really. And I love the way that she reacts when Ross, as she says, abandons his belief system.
I know she's such a jerk, but like,
Yeah,
and then her response after he has like totally melted down and just left, like he is crushed and gone off to question his whole entire existence. I feel, and she's just like, "Well, that was fun. Who's hungry?"
right. Like she's done. She's over it. So funny.
Ah, yes,
Yeah, I mean, she obviously believes this, but she was kind of playing him as well at the same time.
yeah.
I think, yeah,
Hmm.
puppet on a string, um, which just hilarious. Um, so then Monica stands up, she puts a jacket on and knocks over Rachel's lamp.
Mm,
An accident, maybe it was meant to look like that. Um, but yeah, the lamp was very short-lived.
yes.
Didn't have a long life in the girls' apartment. Chandler walks in. He's still having this crisis about dying alone. Janice was his safety net, and this he goes on this tremendous rant. Run away, Snake Man! They'll call me Crazy Snake Man.
Yes,
It's
he's
yeah,
well. He walks in. She's like, and Rachel's Monica broke my lamp. He's like, well,
right,
I'm gonna die alone, and she's just like, oh, you win. Like,
right. I guess you win this one.
yeah, but
I love it.
he just spirals, becomes completely unhinged, and then the girls
Yeah,
do such a good job. They're so
they do.
sweet, you
They
know.
really talk him down.
Kinda, cause, cause
Yeah,
right there at the end they had like talked him down and then right back up, where he's just like, nope, never mind. I don't know about that.
that's right. That's
Uh-huh.
true.
But
I guess they're kind of used to talking him off the edge,
yeah,
Chandler. This has happened more than once. Um, we revisit Mr. Heckles' apartment for not quite the last time, or it is the last time, isn't it? Monica's in there. She wants Rachel to have the doll clock, but then it starts sort of dancing and whistling or doing whatever it does. It kind of reminds me way into the future of the Geller Cup. Obviously, that was a troll doll, not a Barbie,
oh,
but just, I
that's
mean, it
not
does
a
look like it.
Barbie.
Or the
It's
fake
not a
Barbie. Yeah,
Barbie.
not a Barbie.
Not a Barbie. That is not a Barbie.
Well, whatever the knockoff Barbie that
There you
Mr. Heckle
go. Yes.
somehow. Um, but then Chandler's showing a little growth here. He's going to go on a date with Allison from work. Well, I say a little growth. He still says that he's been avoiding her because of her big head, which I guess if he'd really been
But she's
shown,
got a giant head, as we
he
see.
does. This is a biological fact, as we see in the final scene. Um, but no, he's not going to let that get in his way anymore. Um, but I like the way that he has to keep Heckle's yearbook. Maybe it's just a little reminder for himself of what he wants to not become. And I hope he holds on to it for a long time in honor of Mr. Heckles.
Yes.
Um, and then it kind of ends with Monica not realizing she's standing in front of this TV magnifier.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
which Joey ends up taking.
and she just tells them that they're all gonna go to the bad place and then she leaves.
Right, that's right. And then does it end with Joey leaving with the magnifier? But then then there's that touching scene with Chandler that
Yes.
just says, "Goodbye, Mr. Heckles. We'll keep it down." Which just no spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the season finale, but kind of reminded me a little bit of
Yes.
that. Just that you're closing the chapter of something.
Yeah.
Um, so a lovely little note to finish, I thought, on in honor of Mr. Heckles. But then we do go to what I think is just the coffee house.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't really tell. Is the coffee
That's
house?
what I
And
wrote
Chandler,
down. So I
yeah,
guess we can't tell, but that's what I thought. That's where it looks like it is.
yep. And he's got this internal monologue, and he just can't get past it. He cannot get past um, the big head,
Yeah,
which it definitely is. There's no doubt. There's a big head of hair probably on a big head
yes.
in this scene.
And he says, "My head must look like a golf ball."
Yes, it's a brilliant visual, isn't
God,
it? It's just
just the internal monologue of Chandler is just so funny to me. Like
it
it's
is
so much
brilliant.
is happening in there, and it's just just nuts. It's unhinged, and I
It
love
is.
it.
It is. Well, on that note, we wrap up this episode. Who would be your Gunther Central Park
Uh,
of this episode?
Easily Chandler. I mean,
Right.
we get a little bit of touching, a whole lot of unhinged, um, and a little bit of more character development in him and his realization of himself. But I mean, overall, it's Chandler. Like he had a little bit
Yep.
of everything in this episode for me.
So I've got to confess, I'm going to cheat slightly this week,
Oh,
but I'm kind of owning it because if you had said anybody else, I would have said Chandler
right.
because he's hilarious. But I felt there was somebody else who deserved a Gunther Central Park for the week. So
Okay.
because you said Chandler, I'm going to go with my other one, which is Phoebe.
Okay.
Because of the way she dangles Ross around,
Oh
I
yeah.
feel she needed one. But Chandler was kind of it. But I felt I don't know if it's cheating if I just own it up front.
Yeah,
But
no.
it's my
I
yeah, my pick.
perfectly acceptable, I think. Yes.
Yeah, I think the two of them, Chandler holds up the main storyline, and then Phoebe holds up the second one really, really well.
Yes.
Um, so that's it for me. But if we're sitting at Central Park with our huge-headed friends, and we're trying to distract ourselves with multiple cups of coffee, how many are we pouring ourselves this week?
I'm pouring 7. Just a
You're pouring
straight up
seven.
7. Mhm.
I like it. I am going with seven and an espresso. I think we're switching
Oh,
from last
we
week
sure are. Yep.
because to me this was just I thought it was slightly funnier than last week's,
How
and I think
funny.
you've just gone down a notch.
Yeah, because I think it's
Again,
slightly less funny.
slightly less funny, which I love. I love that. Um, So yeah, just between Chandler and Phoebe, and then even though Janice is hardly in it, I love that scene.
Mhm.
I'm bumping it up just a little notch. Now, we're going to say next week's episode is the one with Phoebe's husband.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I
I
yes.
love this
Now,
one.
before we came on air today, Deanne and I were talking about shows that we're both watching, and I've got to tell you that I haven't looked up his name, but the guy who plays Phoebe's husband is one of the main characters in The Righteous Gemstones, which Kate
Okay.
and I are watching just now, which is hilarious. Don't watch it with the kids. Fantastic. I think it was on several years ago. We just discovered it. The Righteous Gemstones. Yeah, he plays a pretty prominent role in the show.
Wow. Well, that's a fun fact. I love it.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen him anywhere else. I mean, maybe I have, but I haven't noticed him anywhere else. But yeah, next week, the one with Phoebe's husband. So I can already tell that
Yeah.
this is going to be a good,
I'm excited.
very good. Well, on that note, everybody, thank you as always for listening to the Purple Door podcast.